Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. It's nice when Bitcoin actually does what it's supposed to do here. Look at that. A nice push towards that upper liquidation level, about 92.5, swept all of that area and is now pulling back. So kind of standard stuff. We're going to talk about how much further down this price could pull back. Take a look at some liquidation data on the back end too, and just kind of see generally where we're at here. Quick congrats to our community members for some nice profits on our plus trades here. We're so far upwards of about 393 and about 36 trading days. So it's been a pretty good little situation. We've since adjusted our strategy right in this range here, and ever since then the price has pretty much been going up. It also helps that the market isn't tumultuous and just jumping up and down right now. So pretty good stuff there. Congrats there, and then obviously make sure you if you're part of our community, you're securing profits on some of our trades. Chainlink, we took 30% in 17 hours at the 1765 mark. So been a pretty good little situation there. But what we want to look at in the back end here, first of all, is some important stuff. First thing I want to talk about, because we discussed this yesterday, at $95,000 to $100,000 range, it's starting to pile up more. So as more shorts into the market, we're starting to see that area, more specifically 96,000. That's kind of a heavy area there. Now, if you look here, we can see most of this local liquidation between 91 and 92.5 has been swept. So the price pulling back naturally here, that's very standard, okay? Just keep in mind, just because there's a price action, the liquidation above the price, there's liquidation there. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to go straight up from here, okay? It does imply that that's a likelihood, but if we look on smaller time frames, we can see there's some other longs here in the 86 to 88K range that could get hit here soon. So we're kind of going both ways depending on how you look at it. From a macro perspective though, there is more liquidation to the upside that's closer than the downside. So generally favorable conditions for the price action to go higher. What's interesting here is the liquidation delta is getting closer to break even. We saw this with Chainlink yesterday, where it starts to compress, kind of like Bollinger Bands, where you start to get this range bound activity before the next big breakout. So there's a distinct probability we're probably going to go higher based on the fact that our liquidation delta is getting less to the downside, and that more people are shifting gears to taking longs. Now you got to recognize too, late longs, too many late longs come in the market. Market makers see that and they're going to take all that profit. But I'm willing to guess that tomorrow's crypto summit, we're going to see profit being taken either after or during that event tomorrow. Just based on that being a Friday, we've notoriously seen red weekends. There's a great chance we're probably going to see some kind of sell-off occur in the next 24 to 48 hours. Between now and then, I think we are tentatively likely to go higher or sideways at the very least. I don't expect to see a tremendous amount of selling pressure here soon. We have a lot of open interest below the price action, specifically 86,000. That's where I had my target for my Bitcoin long. Obviously, we didn't hit that, but majority of our community members, after reading my trade alert, were able to get in. So I'm thankful for that. Make sure, future reference, folks, if you're part of our community, you read through my trade alerts. I gave you a heads up on the Chainlink trade we took, and the same thing here with Bitcoin as well. We're looking for an entry at 86 to 87.5. I think the price came down to 87.6K. It was super close to our entry, but again, that's how it's going to work out in this market, folks. The price will always run on you. The whole point of even showing this to you is that 86,000 is a pretty solid amount of confluence. We have a lot of support there. So if we retest that area, I'd feel confident tentatively between now and then. Obviously, I'd reevaluate if we get there, but that does feel like a good area to consider a long if we were to retest that area. Just give you a heads up, 86,000. There's a lot of support in that range. So let's look at the daily time frame, kind of see where we're at. We're still going to be bearish in the daily time frame, folks. But we're getting closer to breaking, I wouldn't say breaking bullish, but the fact of the matter is here, we're up over our simple moving average on the daily. We're under 50 on the RSI, which is unfortunately that little resistance for us. So we can presume that this 92 to 95K range will be a resistance, and that pushing through that, we're going to need more volume. We may very well see that tomorrow, but between now and then, MACD is converging. There's some positive signs here from a momentum standpoint, letting us know we're shifting gears. We are just under all moving averages, at least the important ones here, the shorter time frame moving averages or smaller windowed averages. And then we're also below this descending trend too. So from a macro perspective, it's not like this is a breakout scenario by any stretch, but it's trending towards it though. Okay, so we're getting closer, but just not quite there yet. And that's going to happen on the daily time frame. It takes a while to recover, considering how hard Bitcoin sold off semi-recently, okay? Other than that, let's take a look here. 4-hour time frame, we're above all SMAs here, once again, the important ones. We're still below some resistance, so we want to be mindful that this 200-day SMA is hanging out above us, right there concurrent with the descending trend. So until we close soundly above, just say 94, 95,000, I don't feel very confident in taking a long into that now that this liquidation has been swept. Bear in mind, of course, we've already kind of prefaced here that there is liquidation between 95 to 100,000. So there's a distinct probability we get closer to 95, we'll probably see a little push higher. But for the most part right now, we have some resistance at the 94 to 95K range. Other than that, let's take a quick look here at our RSI. We can kind of see that we're above the SMA. We're also above 50 in the RSI. These are generally favorable signs. Stochastic is swinging back down and MACD is slowly losing its momentum. So the truth about the situation here is that we have good momentum here. We've been moving in the same direction for a while. In fact, if we take a look at TD sequential, we can see we hit a 9 on TD sequential. So further downside would make sense. I would be very surprised we don't pull back into the 86 to 88K range. It would make sense at this point. But the question, is do we just short on the way down, or do we take a long from here? I think it's a little too early to do either, honestly. It's just kind of one of those transitionary scenarios where we've hit our target. We want to wait for the price action to either cool down or continue higher. If it cools down, we take a long in the 86 to 88K range. If it ends up continuing further up, then we take a short at the 94 to 95K range. That's just kind of the mindset that I have right now. We're in that transition, and it doesn't make a ton of sense to take a late long or an early short. Okay, so that's just kind of the what I'm gathering here so far on the charts. If we take a look at the Ichimoku cloud, this does confirm that further upside is more practical. Okay, in other words, we're above the cloud, lagging span is tentatively free and clear, conversion line and the baseline are getting close to each other. So again, we're getting extended here, overextended to the upside. This is a very natural continuation. This is a very healthy continuation. You generally don't want to short into this until we go too far overextended. And only moving 36 hours in the same direction isn't usually enough of an overextension to warrant shorting into that. Okay, so I would say a retest of this local high. If the price were to continue higher, do one of these, sweeps that 95K resistance and or liquidation, that would be a prime position to consider a short, okay? Because we'd be overextended and essentially have swept the local liquidation. Between now and then, though, it's probably best to just kind of hang out and wait for a better opportunity. When we're in transition, folks, it's not necessarily the best call to just kind of jump into a trade. Now, it's not to say we couldn't still go up. It's just that I don't feel confident in taking a long position at this point, just based on all that local liquidation having been swept. We want to see what the price action does first. Okay, so those are just the things that I kind of look at. This is how I look at the charts and kind of try to understand where we're at. But when there is a transition of this sort here right now, to me, I just like kind of hanging out on the sidelines. I would say that this time tomorrow, if we were in the 94 to 95K range, it would seem like a probable or a distinct likelihood of wanting to maybe consider shorting, because we're probably going to be in a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. Right now, the rumor is that the crypto's back on track with this event tomorrow, but once it comes to fruition, all this profit from the bottom, 10% profit on Bitcoin, you think that's going to just stay there? I think it's going to be hit pretty hard. Anyways, it's just standard trading stuff. That's all. Hopefully it makes sense and increases your odds of success. Thank you again so much for the wonderful feedback. Those who've been in my community for a while, be sure you check out Bitunix too, folks. Link down below. Awesome exchange. No KYC or VPN required. And if you have questions on our Plus bot, which I get a lot right now, feel free to reach out and let me know if you have any questions. It's pretty awesome little situation though. A lot of good passive opportunities for our community members. I hope you have a good rest of your day today. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.